Good evening, Carlisle. It's great to be here with you this evening. I've flown in from Babylon to tell you about my career as the world's first professor of Boney M studies. Now, some of you may be wondering why Boney M is a suitable study for academic study. Well, we'll be finding out over the next 5.5 hours. So I'll be asking some questions this evening, first slide, such as, why do academics ask questions and then immediately answer them? Well, we'll be finding out tonight. So why Boney M? Well, unlike other disco legends of the 70s, ABBA, Legs & Co, and the Wombles, Boney M proved that they'd been paying attention at school and listening to their history lessons to great effect. Here we have Rasputin, a figure we might not remember very much today, were it not for Boney M, who reminded us that not only is Rasputin the lover of the Russian queen, but he's also the Tsarist regime's greatest love machine. Every word of this song is completely true. His eyes were flaming gold. Russian chicks did think him a lovely dear. Some men of higher standing poisoned his wine. He drank it all. He said he'd be fine. They didn't quit. They wanted his head. And so they shot him until he was dead. Oh, those Russians. Similarly, in their philosophy of life, Boney M improve on people like Shakespeare by helping us live better lives. Sonny, before you came, my life was full of rain. You came and eased the pain. True poetry. Or never change lovers in the middle of the night. Now, I think we can agree that there is something here for us all to learn from. If we do change lover in the middle of the night, then some pretty terrible things can happen. Your old lover is unimpressed because you've disappeared at 3 a.m. Meanwhile, your new lover isn't very happy either because you've turned up at all hours when they think they're going to be getting a good night's sleep. In our family relationships too, I think it's very likely that if we do change lover in the middle of the night, we stand a very real chance of ending up with no lover at all, which would be absolutely tragic. In our family lives too, then, Boney M show us how important it is to enjoy ourselves at Christmas. We can learn a lot about interpersonal, cross-generational dynamics. She's crazy like a fool. What about Daddy Cool? And from the 1975 song, Do You Wanna Bump? 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 But here we come to the car crash moment. I can't stop for the slides. The car crash moment for Boney M when a disaster of epic proportions was made. Ma Baker, the true story of a 20s gangster, told with great clarity. She was the meanest cat in old Chicago town. She really knew how to mow them down. Unfortunately, she was actually called Ma Barker. A terrible, terrible glitch on an otherwise unblemished record. Now, I notice at this point that nobody is taking notes. How do you expect to pass Boney M studies if you won't write this down? I think it's important. Tom Baker, insane lunatic who played Doctor Who. Ronnie Barker. Cheryl Baker of Bucks Fizz. Bucks Fizz studies start in September, by the way. For those of you who are interested, Sue Barker for rabbiting incessantly about tennis. Some other celebrities I don't know because I live in Babylon, Mr. Bun the Baker, and so on and so forth. Now, here's some interesting information for those of you who are studying Boney M with economics. Album sales of Boney M compared with the population of Liechtenstein, and in the next very carefully prepared slide, we will see down there in the corner, that's NHS, the money that's available to the NHS before Brexit in the larger sphere, and of course, down there, we have the money that will be available to the NHS after Brexit. But Boney M weren't just about pointless lyrics, meaningless graphs, and Russia. The undiscovered question at the heart of Boney M studies. Now, as I plan to lecture about this on many continents, not just here in the UK, I can't give you an answer straight away. But perhaps Einstein can help us. We don't have time to go into the full relativity theory tonight, but let's just say E equals mc squared, you can't travel faster than light, and Bob's your uncle. I think we can take Boney, bonar, because as good academics we turn it into Latin to make it more boring. We can remove the C because it's not relevant for the purposes of a pointless equation. And Boney M is quite clearly seen to mean having a good time whilst travelling at the speed of light twice, as these people here are doing. So it only remains to now ask one question of you. Who would like to join me in Boney M studies starting in the spring? Those of you who said yes, stand up in your seats now, start dancing and sing. Rah, rah, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat who really was gone. Come on. Rah, rah, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. It was a shame how he carried on. Thank you, Canada. Good night.
Yes! Smashed it, fella. Well done.